Hi, welcome to Technopreneurship course. Let's begin with Chapter 1, Introduction to Entrepreneurship. Before that, I would like to brief about the course design. The first half of the course will be focusing on the opportunity recognition for the product or service and market. The second half is about the understanding realities of business operation. We will learn how to pursue opportunity by utilizing people and organization as well as resources and capital. The objective of this course is to understand entrepreneurial leadership as a vital process in technology-intensive enterprises, discover why, dispel common myths and misconceptions, develop creative problem-solving skills required in entrepreneurial businesses, stimulate continuous learning and personal reflection regarding entrepreneurial leadership and your future. This entrepreneurship course is aimed to create T-shaped people who has breadth of knowledge about design, entrepreneurship, innovation, and leadership and depth of knowledge in a particular discipline. What you will learn in this course is globalization, teamwork, decision-making, persuasion and influence, opportunity evaluation, ethics, creativity, communication and basics of finance. What is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is a management and leadership style that involves pursuing opportunity without regard to the resources currently controlled. A way of thinking and acting that is opportunity-obsessed, holistic in approach and leadership balanced for the purpose of wealth creation. Entrepreneurship is creative destruction. Dynamic disequilibrium and optimization is the norm of a healthy economy and the central reality of economic. The entrepreneur searches for change, responds to it, and exploits it as an opportunity. Innovation is the specific tool of entrepreneurs, the means by which they exploit change as an opportunity for a different business or a different service. Entrepreneurship is the pursuit of opportunity without regard to the resources currently under one's control. An entrepreneur is an individual who founds and runs a small business and assumes all the risk and reward of the venture. The entrepreneurship is a continuous process that needs to be followed by an entrepreneur to plan and launch the new ventures more efficiently. Entrepreneurial is the attitude, skills and behavior of an entrepreneur to start and manage a business and taking financial risks in the hopes of making a profit. An entrepreneurial ecosystem is the social and economic environment affecting the local or regional entrepreneurship. The adjacent topics of entrepreneurship are leadership, creativity and innovation. An entrepreneur comes up with innovative ideas and leads people to turn the ideas into value-creating profitable business activities. Everything on the planet is part of an ecosystem: the watershed, the trees and grass, the insects you squash in your living room, and yes, the business you own or are growing. As you grow your business, you'll hear the term entrepreneurship ecosystem. According to Babson Global, the ecosystem has 6 parts: policy, finance, culture, supports, human capital, and markets. There are lots of other models for the ecosystem, but we use this one as a foundation. Most people look at 1, 2, or maybe 3 components of the ecosystem. Some clearly overlap, such as culture and education, or culture and support. The key is to just start understanding where these agencies or organizations fit into the ecosystem. Policy. Sometimes you have no control over the policies that impact your business, but you should be aware of them, and you can lobby for or against them. Sometimes knowing how to word your business practice can help you mitigate the policies already in place. Policy also comes from leadership. If it is missing in the community, you may have to take the risk of setting the business up in a way that creates policies around you. A policy may allow angel investors to invest in startups or businesses. That creates the opportunity for finance to be fostered within the community. That, in turn, promotes the culture of entrepreneurship that leads to support from various organizations, which helps the funds go through, that might require human capital such as mentor, advisors, and others to be engaged in this business, that might create the market for importing or exporting via the policy that was initiated. As illustrated above, the ecosystem is circular. Of course, you should always consult with legal counsel on local and regional policy that could impact your business. Sometimes culture can override policy. Finance. While finance can mean many things to many people, here we mean the accessibility of money. Many times you don't need funding, what you need is customers. Funding can happen in different ways. Throughout our global experience, we see entrepreneurs seeking funding, and we also see funders looking for good entrepreneurial ideas. There is always a healthy discussion to challenge what entrepreneurs think or what funders think. Funding can come in the form of microloans, from angel investors, friends and family, venture capitalist, private equity, and of course, IPO. Many times the best funding comes from your customers. In today's world, crowdfunding can be a tool, as some countries or states might allow certain forms of it. Crowdfunding can raise funds from your customers in multiple ways. One is cash in exchange for a product or service, another would be cash as a donation to get started, and third, cash for equity in your company. Remember to check local, state, and federal laws. The assumption that you have access or will have access to money gives entrepreneurs the courage to take the risk to move forward. You don't want to wait for funding to happen to take the first step to getting the business moving. Always ask for enough, but not too much, money for your runway. Think of the airport. There is a limit to the length the runway should be, not too short, not too long, but you must maintain it. Maybe you need 20, but can't handle the payments in the end. Culture. There is always an entrepreneurial spirit. In every community, locally or globally, it exists, although there might be hard to see or have a dent in it. You need to search out the places where entrepreneurs hang out to encourage and support each other. You will find them in local markets where there is a small coffee shop, small retail shop, chambers of commerce, or trade shows. Stay away from those that discourage you from doing anything because of the perceived barriers you will face. Culture is affected by a lot of things, such as education, environment, policy, and other factors. Today, the infrastructure of a city or a country may drive people away from entrepreneurship because we want everyone to stay in their lane, follow the rules and regulations we've created. Some of the schools and teachers have found ways to expose students to entrepreneurship by offering classes, bringing in guest speakers, or creating an environment in which entrepreneurs and students can interact and further develop a business idea. Developing a culture takes a minimum of 5 to 10 years. To get started, you might want to think about the balance between results and long-term vision. Supports. Incubators, accelerators, conferences, legal advice, support groups or agencies are readily available. Learn how to leverage them. It's not what you think you need, it's what you can leverage. Business planning, technical training, and knowing how to use these resources is actually a skill you will learn with time. Going to an organization that supports you learning how to write a business plan will do you well if you are ready to draft your own plan. Don't expect them to do it for you. Knowing when to use support and for what purposes is the key. And accepting the support can be challenging because many entrepreneurs want to break all the rules, while the support systems want to establish all the rules. There must first be a meeting of the minds. Finding the right people within the support organization is key. At the end of the day, it's not what or who you know, it's about who knows you doing what and connecting you to the right people or opportunities or organizations. Human capital. While it is important and vital that you have talent in your physical location, in today's internet world you can leverage talent that is virtual. Human capital includes skilled and unskilled workers, serial entrepreneurs, members of your extended family, educated and uneducated. Talent is represented in many ways other than traditional employment. Talent can be in the form of internships, mentorships, coaches, biz advisors, peer-to-peer learning, part-time employment, contractors, and so on. It is important for the ecosystem to have the individuals and attract them. This can happen in several ways. First, a mind shift in the community, from traditional employee-employer relationship, to the gig economy, which means people or persons having a job like a singer would have a gig. It might be short-term or long-term, or performing in multiple places. Consider alternatives to staffing your company other than the traditional relationship of employee-employer. This also requires that you respect the rules, laws and regulations that come with, such as knowing how to ask for time and when, how to work with the time they give you. Markets. There may initially be only a small market in the field in which you are launching or growing your business. There might be some major players, some small players, but there are always other players. Acknowledge them, be aware of them, and never say they don't exist. If you say no one else is doing this, everyone hears, I have no clue what I am talking about. There is always someone doing it, and doing it a bit differently than you. If you go after the whole market, if you say or think things like I'm going to sell bottled water, therefore everyone is my customer, you have fallen into a bottomless trap. It is simply not true that everyone you see is a prospect. Certainly everyone is welcome to buy your water, but you need to think about who you are targeting. Let's be specific and assume your bottle of water will sell for $1. There will be people who say that is too expensive, and some who say you should be charging more. There will be those willing to pay, and some who never drink water, or only drink a certain brand. You can call me crazy, but my goal is to get you rethinking your assumptions and to be realistic in your approach. What you will learn is the more specific you are about your customer, the bigger your market becomes, and the less specific, the bigger you think it is, the smaller market share you will capture. If you have to tell people everyone buys my water, it is likely no one will buy it. But if you say companies or people with A, B, C, and D buy my water, they might ask, can X, Y, and Z buy as well? Then you have a new market. What is technological entrepreneurship? Technological entrepreneurship is an entrepreneurship in a technology-intensive context. It is a process of emerging technology prowess and entrepreneurship talent and skills and creating the new and destroying the old. New knowledge. New products. New process. New raw materials. New markets. New services and new business models. The technological entrepreneurship continuum. From product discovery, invention, innovation, entrepreneurship, and then distribute to the market. Who is the technopreneur? A person who destroys the existing economic order by introducing new products and services, by creating new forms of organizations, and by exploiting new raw materials. Someone who perceives an opportunity and creates an organization to pursue it. A person who undertakes risks that has the chance of profit. Technopreneurs distinguishes themselves through their ability to mobilize resources to achieve a specified business or social goal. The technopreneur is a bold, imaginative deviator from established business methods and practices who can think technologies, processes and arrangement. The technopreneur distinguishes logic from tradition, tradition from prejudice, prejudice from common sense, and common sense from nonsense, while integrating variety of ideas from diverse groups and disciplines. Technopreneurs are skilled in applied creativity, thrive in response to challenge, and cool for unconcreational solutions. They experience challenges, create visions, and then act to be part of the solution. They forge new paths and risk failure, but persistently seek success. Entrepreneurial process starts from opportunity analysis, then business planning, gathering resources, implementation, and finally scaling and harvesting. For technopreneurial process, it begins at idea generation, then idea screening, concept testing, business analysis, prototyping, test marketing, commercialization, then finally monitoring and evaluation. Technopreneurs as agents of economic growth. The inputs to the economy are natural capital, financial capital, and intellectual capital. The outputs are the desired benefits or outcomes and the undesired waste, and increased safety. An appropriate goal is to maximize the beneficial outputs and minimize the undesired waste. Financial capital refers to financial assets, such as money, bonds, securities, and land, which allow entrepreneurs to purchase what they need to produce goods and services. Natural capital refers to those features of nature, such as minerals, fuels, energy, biological yield, or pollution absorption capacity, that are directly or indirectly utilized or are potentially utilizable in human social and economic systems. The intellectual capital of an organization includes the talents, knowledge and creativity of its people, the efficacy of its management systems, and the effectiveness of its customer and supplier relations. The sources of intellectual capital are threefold: human capital, organizational capital, and social capital. Relationship between intellectual and entrepreneurial capital towards entrepreneurial activity and economic growth is: intellectual capital and entrepreneurial capital supports entrepreneurial activity that generates the economic growth. Three elements of the intellectual capital are human capital, organizational capital, and social capital. Human capital refers to the skills, capabilities, and knowledge of the firm's people. Organizational capital refers to the patents, technologies, processes, databases and networks, whereas social capital refers to the quality of the relationships with customers, suppliers and partners. An entrepreneur likes to compete, is a self-starter, able to do many things at once, is creative and has dreams and goals. Likes to work for him or herself and be in control, is motivated by a strong desire to achieve and attain financial success and focuses his or her attention on the chances of success rather than the possibility of failure. A technopreneur likes to innovate, is part of a team, able to do many things at once, but chooses to delegate, is innovative and has a greater vision. Likes to be the one to control innovation and be part of an evolution, is motivated by a strong vision and his passion to innovate and takes failure in stride and knows it will lead to success if correction can be made. Entrepreneur and technopreneur is able to determine risk and has the courage to take risks, is independent and self-confident, yet knows where to get help. Likes challenge, hardworking and willing to stick with a project, is not easily discouraged. Maintains good health, has lots of energy and can handle stress, has a strong sense of self-worth. Is a positive thinker who does dwell on setbacks and often has a close friend or relative who owns a business. Successful traits of technopreneur is integrity, leadership, impatient, quick clock speed, modest ego, seeks and accepts coaching, willing to be different, but knows it, pragmatic, willing to compromise, rejoices in others' victories, driven to solve a valuable problem for customers, strong entrepreneurial intensity, willingness to incur the costs of growth, willingness to use wide range of financing sources, emphasis on a team-based organizing structure, focus on innovation, committed to commercialization of technology discovery, excellent communication skills, understand the value of business principles, formation and execution of a sound business plan, raising of money and building an organizational team. The factors leading to entrepreneurial success is ability to initiate and operate a purposeful enterprise, ability to operate within the context and industrial environment at the time of initiation, ability to identify and screen timely opportunities, ability to accumulate and manage knowledge and technology, ability to mobilize resources, financial, physical, and human, ability to assess and mitigate uncertainty and risk associated with the initiation of the enterprise, ability to provide an innovative contribution that encompasses novelty and originality, and ability to encourage a collaborative team of people who have the capabilities and knowledge necessary for success. Entrepreneurship is the key driver of global economic growth with different type of process than starting a small business. The advancements can be either revolutionary or evolutionary. Big global challenges means huge market opportunities in entrepreneurship. The pull are environment and sustainability, security and economic stability, human health, and education, and also digital and physical infrastructure. This is the push of the entrepreneurship with the waves of innovation from year 1785 to 2020. Currently, we are in the fifth wave and the sixth wave of the innovation. Technopreneurship is a process through which individuals and teams bring together the necessary resources to exploit opportunities and in doing so create wealth, social benefits and prosperity. The role of technopreneur as agent of economic growth. The technopreneur must know how to use knowledge to create innovation and new firms. The level of economic prosperity of a nation is determined by the level of entrepreneurial activity which flows from a combination of entrepreneurial capital and intellectual capital. In next chapter, we will talk about the ideation to business.